council workshop meeting to order with this.
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Mr. Johnson.
Mayor Ron Hopkins.
Present.
President Sharon Harris.
Present.
Vice President Lorraine Johnson.
Present.
Councilor Tamika Jones Waters. Councilor Carlette Brooks. Councilor Nicole Beatty. Councilor Toya Monroe.
Present.
Councilor Yana Robel.
Here.
Our solicitor.
Present.
Our finance director. Mr. Nick. Thank you. Nichols. And our tax collector. Our engineer. Thank you. That, Madam President, concludes the roll call for this evening.
Thank you. On the new business,
I have some, I see old business
Oh,
first,
sorry.
but if we skip to
no,
new
all
business.
business is fine.
Okay, I'd like to ask that the citizens forum be moved to the top so citizens don't or have it at both places so they don't have to necessarily wait till the end of the meeting to be heard if citizens are wishing to speak.
Yes, ma'am.
I thought we were going to change it.
But I will. Let's take your permission to change it.
Yes, Councilor Monroe will make that adjustment to this agenda. So any residents wishing to speak, I see Ms. Clara Johnson. Yes, yes.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I'm going to make mine very, very short. There are some things that have been voted on the floor, and I'd like to get clarification of those things. I couldn't do it at the last meeting because we were at the end of, citizens was at the end. I noticed that you guys voted on a person to look for a search party. Am I correct on that?
Yes, the recommendation is for a professional search committee for yes, the recommendation came from our solicitor's office to have a professional search agency. It's not really an agency, it's a professional company that do law enforcement searches, so we're doing that for the new chief of police search.
Is it recommended to do it at this time? We recommend to do it now before the lawsuit's over.
Before we have your response. I'm going to have the lieutenant come and give that report or that information with regards to order for this meeting as well as other public meetings of this council so that there's no disruption of this meeting. So speaking of...
And this is also a workshop.
Yeah, but you can't, Chief,
Yeah, go And the chief should make the
Yeah.
announcement, the mayor should.
Well, you can, Mayor, absolutely, but the lieutenant has the lieutenant, Mr. Mayor, the lieutenant, excuse me.
But there is
I
a
see.
more
Okay.
relaxed, in all due respect, there is a more relaxed protocol for caucus than from legislative, so it's more of a give and take.
Well, no, Mayor.
We have
that's
someone
not-
standing up here speaking. She needs to be quiet and come up and
I
speak at her
I'm
turn.
just
Just
not bothering me.
She's
Yeah.
not bothering me.
Mayor,
She's bothering you guys, but she's not bothering
We
me.
don't want disruptions, but it's
Yeah,
not,
but-
it's
yeah,
not
this is a
disruptive.
disruption, Mayor. Okay, it's not respectful, it is a disruption. I'm the chair,
Okay.
and if I have to be distracted from answering your question, that's a disruption. So yes, you were gonna comment.
No, you were telling us exactly why.
Yeah, it's a best practice, it's a standard protocol for police departments, not only here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, but anywhere in the country. These agencies are professional, they do just this types of searches. They do the qualifying, they administer certain criteria, and evaluations, they do it all. So they are the ones that are professional, and they do this as a living for their
So you're actually saying that this person,
Not a person, it's an agency.
this agency that was voted on legislative night, which was not on the caucus agenda prior to legislative night, but that was voted on legislative night, that person has been hired
It's not,
already?
no,
That company that...
we have not selected the company yet. Yeah, that we'll be looking at however many that respond to. Our solicitor is the one that's going to be securing that agency. We will review them, and then we'll make a choice. But yes,
And have you guys decided on a salary?
none of that has been taken into consideration. It's premature for right now.
Maybe
We
the
haven't done
last
any of it
question,
yet.
maybe the last question.
Okay.
Have all 7 councilors been involved in this process?
They will be. in
So the
executive
answer is no,
session.
they have not been.
Well, we have not at all made any decision. We simply
voted
announced
on it.
the process.
You voted on it on the
We
floor.
voted on a process.
So have all of the 7 councilors, they have not been involved in it prior to the vote on the floor? Yes or no? I mean, that's not hard.
Okay. Thank you.
So
Thank
you
you.
are
I
happy
don't
with
have
the
it.
answer?
Yeah, I don't have it. Give me just a moment. Thank you. Thank you, Lieutenant.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Leanna Rocloud asking to be recognized. Leanna Rocloud.
Ms. Roca, you want to wait for the citizen who has submitted a...
It's with respect to what Ms. Johnson just asked about.
I would like to hear the answer if no one else can answer.
So with respect to the search firm, the search firm, you just indicated that, quote, that firm will be recommended by the solicitor. So when you indicated that firm, it gives me the impression that a firm has already been chosen.
Well,
And
let
it
me
sounds
answer.
like, I'm not done. I'm not done.
There's
Please
no-
don't interrupt
let
me.
me clarify.
Please don't interrupt me.
Let me clarify,
finish.
there's no firm
finish.
selected.
Let me finish, and then you
Yeah, but I
can
want you- I
respond.
want you to-
No,
I
I
want
want
you
to
to-
finish in my entirety, please.
You're doing what you asked.
I asked to finish. I did not ask to be
You're
interrupted.
making a
I
statement
did
that's
not
not
ask, but
true.
I'm not finished.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Roca.
So you can be able to answer everything that I have concerns about. So when you indicated that firm,
it leads me to believe that a firm has already been considered and all 7 counselors have not been involved. You also said that the solicitor would recommend the firm. I personally, and I believe others on this council, would like to see at least 3 proposals from 3 different firms. That's what I am requesting along with other counselors. Okay, we're not working in silos. That's number 1. Number 2, with respect to whether or not this is a good time with the pending litigation to even consider searching for a police chief. Is that even feasible at this point in time? Because we don't know the outcome of the pending litigation. Number 3, based on this pending litigation, what are we doing to make sure we are able to be sustainable if an award is significant? What are we doing to make sure that we're going to be sustainable with respect to hiring a police chief? Because if we hire a police chief now and we have to take back our former police chief, who should have never been fired in the first place, what are we going to do? How is that going to affect us financially? Again, we're not working in silos. I would appreciate if all counselors are involved in these discussions. Number 4, there were 2 individuals that were interviewed for the position of chief of police already. 2, how did that happen if we don't even have the firm selected at this point in time? So if that happened, does that mean that some of the council members conducted these interviews? And if that's the case, that's inappropriate. And the individuals who were interviewed should be omitted from the process because it is now flawed.
Are you finished?
No, I got number 5.
Okay, come on.
Number 5. Now I'm done.
To your first question, Counselor, there has not been an agency selected, to my knowledge. There has not been a determination without the full council being involved in the process. Secondly, when that agency is selected, each counselor will have an invitation for that review. The solicitor will be front and center on this process. Your second question, could you repeat your second question? Because I didn't jot them all down. Your second question was?
Well, I'll just respond to it.
No. Your second question.
You
What was
said
your
the
second
counselors
question?
will get an interview, will get an invitation.
We will have an executive
to interview.
session. You will
No,
have
what
an-
you said, we would get an invitation to interview the firm. I just requested that at least 3 proposals are presented before the
We
entire
may
council
have more than,
body, not one.
Counselor, we may have more than 3.
But that's not what
We
you're,
may
that's
have-
not what you're saying right now.
Counselor, I don't want you.
That's not what you're
I don't want
saying.
you to construct a response to me by saying you believe, you heard, you know, when that is not true.
You just said when the firm is selected,
When the
other
firm-
counselors will get invitations to interview the firm. That's what you
Well,
just
that is
said.
absolutely true.
So that means
That is
one
absolutely true.
firm.
No, it does not mean one firm.
So let's
It does
agree
not-
that
It does not
the
mean one
firms,
firm.
then let's say it's any firms.
Number that the solicitor recommends, every counselor will be invited to that process.
So it's the number that the solicitor
It
recommends?
doesn't, you're creating you're fabricating information that is
I'm going off what
not.
you just said.
not what I said.
You just said the solicitor will pick a number.
Okay,
Any
Counselor,
number
I
that
did
the
not say
solicitor-
that.
Yes, you did.
Counselor, I did not say that.
Can we agree that we will engage at least 3 firms for
It
consideration?
could be 4, it could be
Okay, but
5.
that's at least,
It
that's at least
doesn't-
3.
It doesn't,
4 or 5 is at least 3. I'm
Well,
trying to,
Counselor,
Help us move
we're
along.
not going to split hairs about whether it's 3 or 5. I've answered your question. As far as we cannot discuss the legal issue involving the former chief. So I will not give any information or discuss, open up the
I asked for
floor.
discussion of the
Excuse
litigation.
me,
I
excuse
asked
me, you
whether
asked
or not
about.
it was feasible to hire
No,
a
no.
police chief at this
And-
time by
and-
litigation is
And the
pending.
answer
That's
is,
the question.
and the answer is, the business of the borough has to be conducted. And that means getting a new chief of police in place to do the protection and to take care of the business of law enforcement as it is designed by this council.
But you said this
And
was
so
a
you- no,
Lieutenant Burns
no.
flying hands.
So-
You just said steps.
That is the process. I've answered your question.
No,
That
you
is the
didn't.
process.
I'll accept it as you don't know.
You know, I would like to know, Council, where this is coming from. What people are saying that they were interviewed?
Yes,
for
that's
chief
the
of
other
police?
question.
Where
No
is
one
that
has
coming
done
from?
that.
Raheem Blandon and Jamison Rogers.
I don't know the person.
Raheem Blandon and Jamison
Or
Rogers.
interviewed by whom?
Interviewed by whom? They weren't interviewed by me, Counselor Johnson. I've never heard the names before. Unequivocally, those names have never been introduced to me,
why don't we ask?
nor, and I'm not aware of any other counselor interviewing anyone for chief of police
Why
for
don't we
Yeadon
ask
Borough.
Carlette and Talia?
We were Carla and Talia in this last workshop too. We left early for one before.
Okay. For Miss Angela Lee, would you come to the platform, please?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. I was going to speak about the citizen forum again, and why it wasn't at the beginning of the meetings before. So when I was looking at my previous agendas, I saw that 9 meetings, the citizen forum was at the end, and only 4, they were at the beginning. So I need to know, since this was a surprise tonight, that it's at the beginning, is this going to continue, or is it just a one-time thing? So, is this new?
It'll be,
It's going to be at the beginning from now on? Okay.
and it may be an opportunity for after too, if a resident has something that they want to share personally, you know, something that involves them personally that they need to share.
All right, because I looked at the agenda and I said, if I have to stay here till 9 or 9:30 to speak, maybe I'll just call off. Okay, that was my concern, because I looked at the agendas, and after February 17th, the forum was at the end, right before the adjournment. So that was a concern. And my other concern, that when those citizen forums were changed, they seemed to be no Zoom or audio for the residents. Pieces were missing, and when it involved the chief, who we all support, that was missing too. So I don't know whether they can go back and get that, but I looked at that, a lot of that's missing.
I mean, there's censorship.
Yeah, it's a lot of the, it's like someone edited
Yeah.
some of the video,
It's called
and
It's not editing, it's censorship.
especially in regards to concerns and support of the chief. So I'd like someone to look at that, because it doesn't match what the citizens feel.
You mean you want somebody to fire Gary Moore? That's what you think. I think you
Well,
were trying to.
I want full disclosure.
Full disclosure, good.
Yeah. My next concern, I don't know what this is in the 800 block of Yeadon. I don't know what this is. in the 800 block of Yeadon, but my daughter's a new driver, and I was driving with her, and we got in the center of the block, it dipped and banged underneath the car, so I don't know whether that's a sinkhole. It's not a pothole because it doesn't have that crumbly stuff in it, so I want someone, the engineer or someone to look at that block.
Jeff spoke to that, Jeff spoke to that at the last one.
Okay, it's two there, and we just got the car, so. The other thing, yesterday, I was taking my aunt with my cousin to the hospital, and she lives in the 1000 block of Bell. It's a temporary speed bump there. Someone stole a piece of that. What? So it's only,
Speed bump.
it's gone. It's made out of rubber.
Yeah.
So it's only half of it left, and it's not in the direction that it should be. It's crooked. So I don't know whether that'll be a hazard or not. Almost tripped over it, trying to get her into my car.
Where was that?
It's in the 1000 block of Bell. So someone needs to check that out. Also, my final thing, I looked on the borough website. I did not see the March or April minutes, so I want to know if they've been approved, and if they have, how long is it going to take for them to go on here? And that's it. And as always, supportive of the chief, and I hope that eventually we all can get along and get things done around here before I turn 70. Thank you.
Now for all business.
So I think there was a question about when the minutes would be posted.
Yeah.
That's pretty simple. We have everybody here who's involved. Are we able to answer that question?
Mr. Dawson?
I will call Mr. Core tomorrow morning.
What here?
And
Wait, what do you have to do with the minutes?
The minutes.
The minutes.
the minutes are missing from the website.
Right.
So he
Right.
has to-
Are the minutes complete? Because
Wait,
the
hold on. Wait.
Manager and
Excuse me.
secretary.
Counselor is asking me a question. Counselor, what is the question?
So are you saying that the minutes are complete and they were submitted to Gary Core, the webmaster, and he has yet to upload them on the system? Is that what you're saying?
I will say it's my assumption.
I'm sorry, I
Yes,
can't hear Mr.
yes.
Dawson.
You're talking to me, right?
Yeah, well, someone was talking and I couldn't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. So I was unaware that the minutes were not posted. It's my impression that once we approve the minutes, that they're posted immediately. So my response to the question is that tomorrow morning, I will talk to Mr. Court and double check and make sure those minutes are posted and ask him for an explanation as to why they were not posted.
But those minutes had to be amended. So were the amendments performed on the minutes?
I do not believe that the minutes that you're speaking of were amended.
No, there were several minutes. Several of the minutes had to be amended, several months.
I think that Council President spoke to the fact that everything has been recorded, and you responded to the fact that, no, I didn't say that, so forth and so on, and she replied to you that the minutes are recorded, and my assistant she receives the minutes directly from the video.
So we made a vote to accept the minutes as amended. Are you saying that they
No, ma'am,
will
I'm
not
not
be
saying,
amended?
no, ma'am, I'm not saying that. The question was, are the
You
minutes,
can't change the minutes.
can't change it.
Yes,
You
you
cannot-
We
you-
voted
you
to amend
cannot-
the
You
amendments.
cannot change the factual content. You cannot change the factual content of the meeting. Because you disagree with it.
Correction.
Because you disagree with it. And
We
you want
asked
something to be
for
changed.
corrections to be
No.
made.
You want a data change.
I can't talk to someone with a shower.
Yeah, you want a data change. And those recordings and those minutes as recorded, as factually recorded, as excerpt from the recording will stand. Because you disagree does not mean we go in and change it because you disagree.
Lies and garbage. I'm not going
Okay,
up
well,
if it's on the
it's
recorder,
done.
then
It's
I
done.
would like to hear the recorder.
Well, you
because
have
I was there.
opportunity to come up and listen to recordings.
We
if the
voted
recordings
for
are
the
there.
minutes to be amended with the
Okay,
changes
well,
that we voted on.
yeah.
Now you're saying something different.
So I guess the simple answer, Ms. Lee, is that not upload them when he was supposed to, or the amended minutes were never sent to him. Either way, maybe or maybe not, will our borough manager get back to you. Okay. I have a question if no other citizens are.
The minutes have to be
And
sent.
the April
They
minutes will not be
have to
up.
take some information
And the
out and
April
add some
minutes will
information
not be
in.
up until
That's
they're
what it's
approved.
about.
All right.
Yeah, we have to make up minutes. Let's make them up.
We have recorded, we have
What else did we
recorded.
say in the meeting?
So speaking of
Okay.
meetings, I'm asking to be recognized. I've noticed on one of the neighborhood social media platforms that a specific counselor has been in repeated violation of the social media policy that you are listening. Council President and next. There were repeated violations of the social media policy, including calling residents trolls and idiots and leprechauns and some other things that was posted on Nextdoor, and I'd like to know what the remedy is for counselors who are in repeat violation of the social media policy.
So was it Yeadon?
That was an actual question. What are the
I'm not
remedies?
aware of any social media postings, so I cannot speak to that.
Would you like me to email you screenshots?
I would like you to. However, my question would be, what are the remedies for repeated violations of the social media policy?
We have not adopted a social media policy. We have consideration. We have consideration.
So we don't have a social media policy?
Excuse me, Counselor. There were submitted in your packets of information for counselors 2 sample sets of information from different municipalities that were being recommended for your consideration at this workshop meeting.
That was
That was the motion to review what policy can be implemented in Yeadon Borough. We have not authorized the solicitor to formulate a resolution based upon those 2 sets of recommendations. After you review them, parts of them may be accepted, may fit Yeadon Borough, may not. That motion was simply to approve the review of those other 2 municipalities in western Pennsylvania that may be a good policy as the PSAB had reviewed them and recommended them. We have not adopted a social media policy.
I guess I was the only one here then.
All right, but we would look forward to your consensus as
It
to
says
what,
right here,
as to what,
enforcement. Potential violations of this policy may be reported to the Borough Council President, who in consultation with the solicitor will plan the next steps in a timely manner to address the potential violation. Violations of this policy may result in a warning shall be given by Council President or Vice President, a public censure of the public official as decided by a majority of Borough Council, a civil action to recover the cost of investigating and documenting any violation of this policy. That is what was voted on at the last legislative
that is not
meeting.
what was
Yes, it was. It's right here.
Ma'am.
It's right here. This is what
you
was
are
said.
misinterpreting.
You know what? I can't.
You are misinterpreting the motion.
You know what? My public school education is not serving me well tonight.
Was anyone else at that meeting when we voted on that social media policy?
Forgive me, but I thought it was adopted, but I could just be dumb.
No.
But we actually voted on it, right?
No,
There was a motion for consideration to adopt the social media policy.
It was
Okay.
for the workshop. This is what,
All right.
it should be discussed in this meeting, and then recommendations, what will be adopted or accepted from those recommendations.
So can
It
someone
has not
forward,
been, it has
Councilman,
not,
to
we
meet
have
those
no resolution
violations?
has not been designed by the solicitor for a policy for Yeadon Borough. It has not been formulated. Okay. All right. Yeah, we agreed to it. Okay. Okay, Mr. Mayor, your report, please. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Mayor held a citizens forum on Thursday, May 3rd, which was the first one of the quarter.
Thursday, May 3rd?
Did I say May 3rd? Oh, sorry, I meant March.
Okay.
Oh, that's a typo. March 3rd, which, thank you for that, Madam President. The other three will be June 2nd, September 1st, and December 1st. We had Jack Stolzheimer as well as Senator Anthony Williams. Second thing to report, Saturday, April 30th, 2:30 a.m. outside the 7-Eleven at Myron Church, there was another attempted carjacking. The victim reportedly fought back against the assailant. The assailant fled into another waiting car. So this is the fourth carjacking or attempted carjacking so far in 2022. All of last year we had 6 for 2021. So we're well ahead of last year's pace in carjackings, which is a very traumatic type of situation here. All right, so that type of serious crime seems to be going up. On same morning, Saturday, April 30th, around 1 a.m., on the corner of Church and McDade, an auto crashed into the side of the home, that resident's home, severing gas lines. There was a stench of, a high stench of gas in the air. Thankfully, the family was not home. They were vacationing. Otherwise, they probably would have suffered injury. Their immediate neighbors had to be evacuated due to the dangerous mainline gas break. Upon returning, the homeowners had to be relocated until a permanent fix could be done in their home. And I'm proposing that the borough donate some finances to help them in that transition. Lastly, I'm asking for an unbanning of the hiring freeze right now. As mayor, I believe there's a hiring freeze. We asked for part-timers. Council voted against it. And we asked for, we're 5 full-time officers down, and there's been no movement there. What I've done is I researched some recent articles outlining the problem of hiring, recruiting, and maintaining police in this area. We had the first article. The Attorney General came down, Josh Shapiro, and met with the mayor of Philly and the police chief, and he said there's almost 2,000 officers down in the state. The next article talks about Mayor Kenny requesting the Civil Service Commission to relax some of the residency requirements so they can hire police officers. The other 2 articles shows the difficulty to maintain police officers, to recruit them. It's not an appealing job today. Philadelphia, the police chief, Daniel Outlaw, said in 2 of these articles that Philadelphia is 600 officers down. Right now, SEPTA Police, of the 260, they have 50 officers. They can't hire those who and they can't hire them fast enough. Those are on the force quit. There's a problem with policing around the country and in our area. I was just talking about it at the DRPA, how also it's not competitive in certain places, don't pay enough, and we have a problem of of recruiting police, and it's not a situation that we could be choosing right now. People are not signing up for that job. And my fear as mayor, we have my job is to keep us safe, is that we're in the process of dismantling the police department. Now, I understand name tags and decals and all those that are really nice, but the main issue that we should be focusing on is getting our police up to full staff. And once you start eroding that, it's hard to catch up. So under normal circumstances, some of the things we've undertaken would be difficult enough. But in this atmosphere, it's going to be hard to catch up. It's not that we can magic wand. We got to know what we're doing. If we don't know what we're doing, ask the people who know. There's a problem in our area. We can't hire police. Almost every police department.
Oh, you're not in the mic, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Almost every police department is undergoing some very, very serious issues. So I'll ask my colleagues to really consider that. I was talking to Lieutenant Burns today to kind of get an assessment with other neighboring boroughs. They're going through the same thing. Right now we have one part-timer. They don't want the job. And those who are part-timers are not part-timers for long. They get hired right away. Lansdowne, I believe, has two part-timers. We can't get part-timers. So it's not like you could choose and like, whoa, let's wave a magic wand. We'll just fire police, do this, we'll get people, we'll hire firms. People want now. This is not the environment that we're in. You can hire all the firms we want. We need police, and we should keep the ones that we have. So it's not, this is a crisis. It's a crisis of staffing. And I want to sound that alarm so that my colleagues understand the decisions, the ramifications of the decisions that they're making. There ends my report, Madam President.
Oh, thank you. May I ask Mr. Mayor? Yes, Councilor.
How many full-time police officers do we have at this time?
We do that, we go through this every
No,
week.
Could you just tell me how many full-time?
Give me the mic. I believe we're allotted about 21, and we're 5 down. So do the math. We need 5 full-time police officers.
So you have 17, Mayor?
Well, 16 is it? 16
Oh, there's
or
16 or
17?
17.
17.
We have 17.
So the math holds. So we're allotted 21. We're 5 down, but we go through this every meeting.
Okay, that makes
Thank you, Mayor.
We're 5 down.
16 with one part-timer? That's 17.
Okay.
16 full-time, okay?
Mayor, with all due respect, I wish you would thoroughly understand, it is not nice to have decals on a police car. It is essential. And I don't know why this doesn't seem to be important. It is not nice for police officers to have name tags. It is essential that they have name tags. It's part of a uniform.
If we had police, maybe we could put a name tag.
We do have police, and they've been walking around here for over 2 years without the necessary equipment.
Let me answer that. You can't take a shot without me answering.
Yeah, okay, and I'm just.
Let me answer that. Let me answer that.
And I have a question as well.
So I'm not allowed to answer. I'm not allowed to.
I have a question as well for the mayor's report.
For the solicitor, you want to direct to?
Mr. Solicitor, I'd like to know, the mayor said he's proposing the borough donate $5,000 to the family. Is that in the purview of the borough? And would it present a problem if it were to reoccur more than once, twice, or 3 times?
Mr.
part. Say that
The
first
question
part.
is,
You want to answer?
So I would like to know how it is that our borough manager gets his question gets put before a counselor when I was still asking the mayor questions about the police department.
Because he had asked before you.
No, ma'am, this is still in the same line
No.
as the police department
He asked
questioning.
the
Mr.
question
Dodson
about
is
the mayor.
deciding to change the subject.
Counselor,
Mr. Dodson is deciding
strike
to
my
change the
comment, strike my
subject.
comment.
you're out of order. You asked me that you asked the question.
Well, you don't hear me when I speak.
Before you said
You
anything.
don't hear me when I
So he
speak.
has the
Mr.
floor.
Dodson is the borough manager. I am an elected
The
official.
manager has the floor and the.
I am an
and the
elected
president-
official.
and the
I should be
president
afforded
controls
the
the meeting.
respect of being able to
Counselor,
answer
no,
a question.
that is not correct.
You're not
You are
controlling it.
incorrect, Counselor.
You are changing the subject and
Okay.
moving on.
He's not
to
changing the
something else.
subject, he asked for this question.
I have a
that
question about the
preceded-
mayor's
excuse me,
report.
That
The
preceded,
mayor's report is
Counselor,
is what my question
you are
is about.
out of order, Counselor.
This is a
You're out
workshop
of order.
where this is
You
a
are
give
out
and take.
of order.
The
There
borough
is still-
manager is out
there is
of
still
order.
order.
He should defer to the counselor.
Could you answer the
Maybe
question
Mr.
about the
Bobs needs to think
$5,000
about that
recommendation?
question.
That was first on the mayor's report. Could you please respond to that?
That was the part I couldn't hear. Can you say the first part
Let
of
me
your question?
restate it. The part of the mayor's report, the first part, he made a recommendation, and the manager asked me, is that permissible? Is that permissible? And I said to him to ask you. That was before the mayor finished talking about the decals and what Councilor Johnson had redirected to him. So I want that answer because it is extremely important that we don't set a precedent at the mayor's recommendation at this meeting.
And we should also not set a precedent of letting the counselor attack the mayor with allegations and move on and say, I object to it, and it's okay. I
They
just
are not
did.
allegations.
They are allegations.
They are not
And you did
allegations.
not permit him to
I have
respond.
pictures
You went
of
on
our
to the
vehicles
borough
driving
manager.
around this town
We
without
answered
number
this question
details.
a number of times.
Okay.
If they had been ordered.
They are not allegations. And you know it. And you know what you're saying is a lie.
Let me respond to that.
You lie.
Let me respond to that. I never said that decals wasn't important. I never said that badges, name tags wasn't important. I complied to that, with that, to make sure that that was in order. I did that. Everyone now had, and that was an oversight in that was part of our policy. As our officers left or came back with the influx, it's something that dropped off a little bit here and there, but we did it, Madam President. What do you want us to do?
Long overdue. Thank you.
So that's more important than putting officers in the borough. That's more important. That is my point. You've made that more important. You've made name tags more important. You've made decals more important than protecting our borough with officers on the street. You got carjackings going through the roof.
Okay.
You haven't commented on that. What you've commented on is name tags. That's what's important to you, not the safety of our residents. Name tags is what's important to you.
All of it is important. All of it.
I want.
That's what you've underscored, name tags, not the crime, not the lack of officer. You voted for cessation of hiring
Okay.
in lieu of name tags. Name tags are more important than putting officers in this borough.
Mayor.
Temporary.
Okay, excuse me.
Now I responded, thank you.
Excuse me.
Well, y'all know if I ask the question.
Okay, I'm gonna make a comment with regards to the mayor's report. So that hopefully we can kind of put this to bed as regarding the name tags and the decals, and I'll tell you why. When we were reviewing the code of conduct that this borough established for the police department, that the council has the authority, and only the council has the authority, to approve a code of conduct and a standard operational procedures that involve our police department as provided in all of the police police training. When officers go and go through their training and they're given information that they will carry out in their duties, working for whatever municipality there is, it is extremely important to have a standard protocol for officers. Why does an officer need a name tag?
Nobody's arguing that they don't. They've been ordered.
You made a false argument. I'm for name tags, I'm for decals, I don't know what you're doing. I'm for name tags, and we're for decals. You're making a false dichotomy. That's not right. We're for name tags.
Mayor, I have the floor.
Can we get you some business that will represent the
And
borough
we're
outside?
Okay, Ms. Johnson. So if the standard code of conduct that governs our police, if we had a resident that gave a report, couldn't tell who the officer was because there was no name tag.
Yes.
And the person, we said, well, why aren't there name tags? And that's when Councilor Johnson brought it. Excuse me, would you let me?
Everyone has everything. Why are we stuck on this?
Please do
Why are we
not,
stuck on
please
this?
do not interrupt.
Everyone has a name tag. Why are we stuck on this?
Because the question is, why weren't there name tags?
Does it matter now? Rectify.
They were answered at the last meeting.
So guess what? So guess what? If there's an issue with the police department, would you be quiet, please? If there's an issue with the police officer in this town,
They have
and
name
you
tags.
can't respond to it because you don't know.
Everybody has a name tag.
That was not the proper conduct.
Can we talk about?
Well, first of all,
I know you want to just blow it off.
First of all, that's a lie. Every person here, whether they have a name, they all have name tags. Whether you have a name tag or not, we know who the officers are. There's no one that's ever been brought to me that we couldn't identify an officer. That's ridiculous.
Mr. Mayor, it's not ridiculous.
It is, because we can identify every officer on this force.
But what about the stranger?
When they come to us, we
What about the resident?
we know who they are. There's a million ways to identify an officer. You got a license plate, you got description, you got time of day, you got 911 police calls. There's a million ways to identify an officer.
I have the mic, Mr. Mayor.
No.
Give me the mic. Give me the mic.
No, I'm not letting you. No, I'm not. I'm not.
So you're now in charge of the meeting.
I'm not giving you the mic.
The meeting is adjourned.
The meeting is not adjourned. No, it's not. It needs a vote. No, it's not. You know what? Put your shower pants up. Go.
The meeting is adjourned.
She sat up here and talked about the authority of council. This council right now is a trifling council. What about the garbage that you allow to go on the borough's website, and you have the nerve to think you have some authority over the police department? You're a joke. You're a joke.
Mr. Box, welcome to the show.
What's over some name tags on the police? I hope the police have a name tag on when they come to the line. When the police come lock you up, I hope they have the name tag.
You can end the recording.